My call to action is that we not retreat, that we not let the vision be void. It's that we rest when we need to rest, but we never put the vision to rest. I'm Patrice Washington, and this is the Redefining Wealth podcast, where authenticity leads to alignment and abundance. Join us each week as we peel back the layers on what wealth truly means and dive into conversations that inspire, connect, and empower you to live your richest life. Get ready to challenge the status quo. It's time to redefine wealth for yourself. You're listening to the Redefining Wealth podcast with Patrice Washington. And this is the space that you come to each and every week to learn more about what it means to chase purpose, not money. Listen, I'm recording this 2 days after the 2024 presidential election results in the United States. And I am very clear that I was not given this voice and this microphone to be quiet and not give voice to something that I know a lot of the people that I serve are experiencing. So let me say this before we dive into this affirmation and this episode. If you have been a listener of the Redefining Wealth podcast for any length of time, I would like to believe that you already know my heart. I would like to believe that you know that this has always been a space where everyone is welcome. I have not cared about people's religious backgrounds, who they love, and definitely not who they vote for. So I want to emphasize that today, this message is about vision. And it's about vision because what we've learned in this community over the last few years or so is that the pillars only work when they are used to protect a vision that is worthy and worthwhile. The pillars only work when they are used to protect a vision. So this is not about aligning with any political party, although I'm very clear about who I voted for. This is not about hating anyone who may have voted for someone different. But what I have been saying for over the last decade is anything that you desire in terms of personal finance and personal development requires personal responsibility. And so while we can all feel what we feel, the reality is that we live in a country where we are consistently asked to vote for the lesser of two evils. We are consistently bombarded into funding people and agendas that frustrate us all. And I understand that. I totally get that. And this is why I feel, again, even more committed to teaching more of us how to use our voice, how to make sure that we are redefining what matters to us, and how to stay committed to the vision that we were individually called to. Because I still believe that we were each born with purpose, on purpose, for purpose. And a part of my purpose is pushing you into yours. And sometimes that push has to come on the back end of something that brought you pain, grief, bewilderment, confusion. Sometimes that push has to come on the backside of you experiencing joy, relief, excitement, hope, expectation. Both of these things can be true because I believe what I have attracted is a community of like-hearted people. We will not be like-minded. And I don't want to be in spaces with like-minded people because the only way that we all grow is to hear different perspectives, to understand other people's experiences, to be educated on things outside of the realm that we might normally educate ourselves with. This is the only way that we grow. I don't even want to be in spaces with everyone thinking like me, but I will only be in spaces with people who are like-hearted. And I know that this community is 95% women. And whether you are biologically your mother or acting as a mentor, a mother figure of some kind, some way. You're an auntie, you're a cousin, you're a teacher, you're a nurse. I know that our like hearts all want to see this country be better and do better for the young women who are coming up behind us. And so today is my take, my response on how we can continue to move forward and do that. And I do believe that the 6 pillars of wealth are about protecting the vision, but more than anything, the pillars are a process for how you process. I don't care what the season is. I don't care what the diagnosis is. I don't care who left who, what the betrayal was. These pillars serve as a process for how you process. The authentic alignment tools that we are basing the Institute for Redefining Wealth on are all about equipping you and educating you and empowering you on how to keep asking yourself better questions and get off of default thinking so that you can move into this vision more powerfully. I love the book of Nehemiah. And if you know anything about Nehemiah, he was charged. The vision that he had was to go to Jerusalem and rebuild the city walls. And despite distraction, despite who was in office, despite naysayers, and even despite the friends, or people who were foes disguised as friends, when he was working to build that wall, and he was working and fighting, building the wall, and they had tools and weapons at the same time, working and protecting themselves at the same time. I love when Nehemiah says, I am doing a good work and I cannot come down. This is my reminder to each of us today. If you know what the vision is that you've been called to, you have a duty and responsibility to keep working. You can rest, but you don't get to put the vision to rest. You have a duty and responsibility to keep working. Hold those weapons, namely your voice and your finances and your relationships close to you, and be ready to fight when you need to. And fighting is not physical all the time, but using what you have to let your grief or your outrage, your disappointment, your fears be fought with more than empty emotions. I'm not dismissing feelings, but I'm ready for us to move from being so reactive to being proactive. And like Nehemiah, I want us to be people who can stand and do the work and say, I am doing a good work and I cannot come down. At Redefining Wealth Live this year, I actually shared about how the pillars are used to fortify the vision. And I told the story of Nehemiah. I told the story of this Indian structure that has been in existence for thousands of years, and it has been tested and examined and researched over and over again because they can't understand. Well, for years, they couldn't understand why it wouldn't rust. And they just talked about how strong this structure was. And it made me think of the structure that I want us to build around the vision that God gave us, and how sturdy I want it to be, and how fortified I desire for it to be, and how we can come together to use these pillars, to keep these pillars at the forefront to do that. But in order to do it, we have to be people who are willing to say, I am doing a good work and I cannot come down no matter what is going on in the walls or outside of the walls. So we're going to talk about the pillars today, my process for processing all the things that are happening right now, what I want to extend to you. And I'm going to do that as soon as we get through this affirmation of the week. This week's affirmation is, my vision will not return void. Every dream and purpose placed on my heart is backed by divine intention, so I am 1000% clear that my vision requires care and protection. I'm committed to using the 6 pillars of wealth to support, nurture, protect, and direct me on the path to my vision daily. Even in moments of waiting or seasons of uncertainty, I trust that my vision is still alive and unfolding in perfect timing. I release any frustration or doubt, knowing that my path is fortified each time I make the bold choice to give God something to bless in honor of the vision placed on my heart. I am staying aligned with my purpose, persistent in my practices, and committed to my vision. Declare with me today, my vision will not return void. My vision will not return void. And I would love to believe that you believe the same. It is so important for us to understand the power of vision in our lives. It is where everything starts. The only reason that you get up and go to work, that you do the things that you do, is because there's a vision on the other side. You have a vision of someone giving you a paycheck. You have a vision of being able to stay in your home. You have a vision of your kids being able to do certain things. Here's the problem. For many of us, our vision does not go beyond physiological vision, which is only one part of an ignited, aligned vision. I just dropped a 2-part training on this in the Institute for Redefining Wealth. Listen, this is the time for you to get very clear on what your vision is outside of what you can see with your physiological eyes. Everything is created twice. And if the pillars only work to protect a vision, you have to be able to see in your mind's eye what is possible behind you just doing the bare minimum. And that looks different for everyone. So I'm not going to try to quantify or qualify that. It is different for each of us. But the vision is about being able to see beyond whatever your present circumstances are. The vision is about understanding what the future holds, what the possibilities are. And I know sometimes when we're frustrated and we're grieving, it's so hard to dream, but this is the time that you have to connect to a bigger dream. This is the time that you have to be willing to dream a new dream, or else you will lose hope. The thing about vision is that it fuels intentional action. It gives you something to be proactive about. It gives you something to lean into, to talk about. Too many of us have only been pushed by pain. Michael Beckwith says it's time to be pulled by vision. Now, why did I name this Vision is Not Void? Because when I woke up the day after the election, the thing that occurred to me more than anything is that the vision that I had when I went to sleep on election night did not change because of who the president is. It does not change because of the circumstances that are going on around me. Because what I have learned is that vision has 3 parts: physiological, creative, and organizational. And so despite what I see, my vision is not void. It is not empty. It is not lacking. Because my creative vision says, if you have the power to speak life, and if you have the power to imagine what is possible, you better organize that power, organizational vision, plan, prepare, and do the things that you can do and then stand. You don't get to sit out. You get to rest. You get to grieve. You get to feel your feelings, but you don't get to sit out, complain and tarry and worry, because who does that serve? All that does is put you back in a place of being reactive instead of being proactive. The biggest thing for me in this season is to help more people give voice to what they genuinely want. And that is not because they need to want what I want. That's not because they need to vote how I vote. That's not because they need to align with everything. I don't believe that everybody assigned to me actually believes everything that I believe. That would be naive, because we are all nuanced in our experiences. We all come to the decisions and the choices we make based on our experiences. And some of those experiences are rooted in bias in both directions. That's why I said this is not about who people voted for. And listen, I have friends and family on both sides, and I understand their concerns and their frustrations and their challenges on both sides. I get it. But the only thing that I can do is one, be coachable, be open to listening. Listening does not mean that I agree or condone. It means I'm open to listening. I'm always open to new perspective, new thoughts, new ideas. And then I get to run it through the filter of, does this align with what I feel assigned to do? And if it does align with what I feel assigned to do, I get to research, I get to know it, but more than that, own it for myself and then give voice to it. And giving voice is not about being loud. It is about knowing when to speak your truth. It is about knowing how to speak your truth. It is about being able to give voice to your values. Because again, you won't always be in spaces where everyone is the same. I don't even want to be. But when you get in spaces with like-hearted people, it's your duty and responsibility to enroll them in the vision, because you're able to communicate and articulate what that vision is. So if you voted for a candidate at any level that goes off the path of what you thought was aligning with what you feel assigned to do, then I still want us to be a community of people who are equipped to give voice on behalf of our brothers and sisters who are counting on us, but who do not have an ear in that camp. If you voted for a candidate at any level, I'm not just talking about the presidential election. If you vote for a candidate at any level that goes off the path of what you genuinely in your heart of hearts thought would be aligned with what you felt assigned to do, when you know it and you feel it in your spirit that something is not right, I pray that because you are in this like-hearted community, you will still give voice on behalf of the folks who don't have the ear of the folks that you may have the ear of. So, how do we know what truly aligns with our vision? How do we know how to leverage the 6 pillars of wealth to protect that vision, but also to help us clarify that vision? Because the thing about going through the pillars and using it as a process for how you process is it will allow you to remove the fluff, remove the clutter, remove all the external definitions, ideas, and labels, and get to the heart and the truth of who you are, what you believe, what you desire, and what you truly envision for yourself, but also for society and how you were called to serve. So let's jump into the pillars. And let me say, do not fall for familiarity paradox, which says, oh, I've heard this before, so I already know the pillars. Just because they sound familiar, this is in a different context. This is about protecting your peace, but also fortifying your vision as we move towards 2025 and beyond. So just because you've heard the pillars before, don't try to tune out on this part. Okay? All right. Now, in order for us to actually build and protect and preserve that vision, here's what I want you to consider in this season. Your 5th pillar. Let me just jump straight to it. Stop playing with your mental and emotional health when you live in a society that is literally exhausting. You don't have the luxury of continuing to go undiagnosed. You don't have the luxury of continuing to say, I'm going to pray about it and God will fix it. God sent therapists. God sent counselors. God has sent psychiatrists. God has sent medication. You can pray and also go figure out why you continue to be in this loop. You live in a society that is exhausting. The people are exhausting. Social media is exhausting. You may work in a work environment that is exhausting. Your soul is exhausted from trying to get your attention. Your soul has been trying to say, hey, go over here, do this, do that. Don't go there. Stop talking to these people. And you continue to drown it out. And you're emotionally and mentally fatigued. That doesn't even include the fact that so many of us are walking around with learning disabilities that are undiagnosed. So they're stressing us out because we're trying to hide them from people while just exhausting ourselves. Mental illness that is going undiagnosed, and people just dodging the support that could be available to them. So the fifth pillar is about becoming your best self, mentally and physically. So yes, on my stories, do I always post about being in the gym? Absolutely. It's a part of how I relieve stress. It's a part of how I fortify myself. I fortify the fifth pillar to help me protect the vision. Because the vision that I have is that I will be a voice in this space. And actually, I haven't even scratched the surface of who I believe God is calling me to be. And I need to be physically capable of doing everything that God is calling me to. But beyond that, I need to be mentally capable. Some of you are walking back into environments where people are annoyed by your anointing and you allow it to agitate you, put you in a disposition of stress and angst and anxiety and all of this stuff. You need support in working through that, especially in this next season, because when you say, I am doing a good work and I cannot come down, there's going to be a lot of mental chatter connected to that. And you want to be able to handle that chatter with clarity and conviction. So what do we need to do in this season? We need to fortify this fifth pillar mentally and emotionally. Because if you have a vision for your life, it's your duty and responsibility to protect the only vessel you have to execute that vision. I know you hear me talk all the time about living in alignment with the 6 pillars of wealth: fit, people, space, faith, work, and money. But if you've been feeling stuck lately or you're unsure where to focus your energy right now, I know how hard it can be to get started. So I've got something that will help. The Redefining Wealth quiz. This quick and powerful quiz is designed to help you figure out exactly which pillar needs your attention most in this season of your life. So whether it's getting your health back on track, strengthening your relationships, or aligning your finances with your purpose, this quiz will give you clarity on where to start. And the best part, once you know which pillar to focus on, you can start to take intentional steps to create the shift you need to see progress in every area of your life. So if you're ready to stop guessing and start moving in the right direction, head over to patricewashington.com/quiz. That's patricewashington.com/quiz. Take the quiz today. It's free, it's fast, and it could be the key to unlocking your next breakthrough. Let's get clear on what you need and take action together. Number 2, people pillar. This is not the time to isolate. Greatness was never created in isolation. This is the time for collective action. Do not retreat in this season and think that you're going to do it all alone. Do not retreat in this season and say, I can't trust anyone. Some of you have unfriended and blocked as many people as you can on social media this year. I understand. But in blocking them, please make sure that you are not burning bridges that could support you in getting to the next level of your vision. I'm not talking about using people you don't like. Understand what I'm saying? Some people are still like-hearted, even though they're not like-minded. And there's still an opportunity for collective action, for coming together to create tools and resources and support outside of what you could do alone. In the Redefining Wealth app, something that we are really moving forward in 2025 are the idea of our Purpose Chaser meetups. Make sure you're in the app. Make sure you have designated where you're from. You don't have to give us the exact city, but at least the state, because we will be organizing more Purpose Chaser meetups with the support of you as a Purpose Chaser so that you can connect with more like-hearted people in your backyard. One of our Purpose Chasers, Savidra, she is leading an empowerment panel. At the time of this recording, it's coming up, but you will have just missed it. But she's leading an empowerment panel, and she got together several voices from the community to help people who are struggling through the holiday season, because it can often be sad for people. We have another purpose chaser who wants to do something around conscious parenting. We have another purpose chaser, two of them, who want to do something around getting back to the basics with finances, which we're going to talk about when I get to Money Pillar. Collective action is your best bet to see your vision manifest sooner, quicker, faster. Do not retreat and think that you can do it all alone. In this season, collective action and the idea behind that, not only has it informed what masterminds and what groups I will be a part of for 2025, it's also reignited in me this idea of bartering. We are cleaning up digital space. I'll get to that next. We're cleaning up our Google Drive folder, and I'm bartering with someone who's a master at that. I'm doing some other stuff with streamlining our systems here, and I'm bartering with the support that I need. How can you get out of this idea that you have to do everything yourself, which leads back to that emotional and mental fatigue, and get back to collective action? That's what I want us to be thinking about for the people pillar. Everything that I'm telling you are things that I want you to be thinking about putting in place this quarter. We can't wait until January 1st. We will have a pillar planning retreat. You'll get more details about that. And we'll come together to plan our year by the pillars in January virtually. But before then, I want you to think about your vision and how you can apply each one of these. Now, space pillar. This is such an important time. You have to declutter mentally and digitally and physically to get ready for this next season. Your vision depends on it. Your vision depends on you not being frustrated, annoyed, and stumped every 2 seconds because you're always looking for something you can never find. I decided to barter with a friend of mine to clear and organize our digital space, which is a Google Drive, a shared Google Drive folder amongst all my team members. Because I'm very clear that for where God has taken me, for this ignited, aligned vision that I now have for the Institute for Redefining Wealth and for us as a community, I can't exhaust my team with all these files that are not named properly and have all the, no, not doing it. Not doing it. It adds to the emotional angst that many of us have. I'm committed to clearing that away, because that doesn't serve the vision. Even a digital space can be sacred. What do you need to clear off that phone? All the screenshots that you took during this season, all of the anger that you are holding trapped in your digital device right now. So many things that just don't serve you. The accounts that you're following that you need to clear out. People you following that piss you off every other day, but you still want to know what they're saying. Clear your digital space. Give your nervous system a chance to grieve and regroup. Digital space can be sacred if you allow it to be. So over this break, I am focused on my personal phone again, my personal phone, as well as everything that we do for my team. So that's our Airtable base, our podcast base, our Google Drive folder. I'm even clearing things and people out of the Slack channel. Everything has to go. Everything has to go so that I can create the room to navigate in this new season and that new vision more effectively. Faith pillar. I really believe that a part of the division that I saw this year, and it was something that I've really been processing for the last few years, I'll say honestly since 2020, is the fact that you hear people using the same terms, but you're not necessarily sure if you're talking about the same thing. Everybody that says God and Jesus ain't talking about the same thing. Can we just be clear about that? And if you don't consider yourself to be Christian, that's fine too, because everyone is welcome here. We have a lot of people in this community that don't even identify with Christianity. But what I'm saying is, what I've seen over this last year is a real struggle for power with terms. with words. I had a former team member who said that I shouldn't use soul detox because the word soul was for Christians. I was like, excuse me, the word soul is in the dictionary. It does not say exclusively for Christians. It doesn't say that because I'm using the word soul that only Christians can attend soul detox. That is foolish to me. But what it illuminated for me and why I want to share that is that it is now important more than ever that you interrogate your faith for yourself, that you understand the words that you use, the origin of those words, that you start to research backstories about what you believe, that you stop taking everything that you heard on a sermon, on a YouTube video, on an Instagram clip at your church, and you don't seek any further wisdom around it. This is a time to interrogate why you believe what you believe. And if it still comes out the same, wonderful. But if it doesn't, you got to get the guts to redefine what your faith practices look like for yourself. And I know every time I say that, a purpose chaser falls off. But I am willing to lose because this is what I believe. And this is not about, again, a political party or who believes what. This is about individual people that I talk to that cannot say why they believe what they believe. That is dangerous. It is dangerous not to know why you believe what you say you believe and not to have a firm answer that you came to on your own, not that was fed to you by anyone else. We are adults. At this big age, you get to question and define some things for yourself. And that's what I want to encourage you to do in this season. Don't go to your grave. And I don't even mean your physical death. Don't go to your grave because when you're not growing, you're in the grave anyway. And not know what the hell you believe and why you believe it. Work pillar. I believe one of the best things that we can do for ourselves in this season is define a project aligned with what we feel purpose to do. A lot of people talk about passion projects. And if you are passionate about it on top of it being purposeful, woo, what a beautiful combination. But as I have said many times on this podcast, passion is beautiful. It ignites you. It excites you. It pumps you up. Yes, internal. It's not purpose until it's a blessing to someone else. One of the things that I am most excited about in this season is how I have completely restructured mastery and momentum because I want to be surrounded by and have the capacity to serve visionaries. And we are leading with capstone projects. We are leading with projects that make an impact. And as a community in Mastery and Momentum, which is a 9-month mastermind, we kick off in January. And yes, you can still apply. I have about 7 spots left, and I'm so excited about it. But as a community, we're coming together again to that collective action, that being able to leverage collective power for positive change. The capstone projects that I have heard thus far, because you have to share what it is when you do your application to Mastery Momentum, are blowing my mind. And I believe in Parkinson's law. The time that you give something is the time it will take. And we all know that incredible things could be birthed in 9 months or less. And these capstone projects, I'm so excited about what we get to do. And whether you are in Mastery and Momentum or not, the beautiful thing is the community and the coaching and the authentic leadership principles I will be teaching from, all the things that have literally been the catalyst for me being known as the thought leader that I am today. And I'm doubling and tripling down on those principles because, again, the vision that God is now showing me says everything that I've accomplished up until this point, the 20 million downloads, the 1,000 clients served, the television, radio, awards, all the stuff scratches the surface. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. And I believe that is the same for the women that I'm called to serve in mastery and momentum in this season. And if you are listening to me right now, if you believe that in this season, the best thing that you can do is latch on to a worthy, aligned, ignited vision, a purposeful project that may be a little different than what people have known you for, or it's going to take what you've been known for to the next level and you feel it in your belly, I am inviting you to work with me in mastery and momentum. I am cleaning out and clearing out so many other things because I feel like this is the season where I am supposed to lock arms with the next iteration of supercharged transformational leaders. And we together, not because we're all like-minded, but because we're like-hearted. And as women, we're going to come together and do something powerful in this earth. This is the opportunity. This is what you do in response to something. You don't get loud. You don't get overly emotional on social media every day, because what does that do? You get intentional, you get strategic, and you get that purposeful project out of your mind, out of your thoughts, out of your belly, and into the atmosphere, into the environment, into the world where you can actually shake things up. The 11 or 12 women that I have now, oh my gosh, so excited about who they are and what they're doing. And it's just 6 or 7 more spots. So masteryandmomentum.com. Join me there and let's do this together, because it's not the time to retreat. It's not the time to start playing small. It's not the time to start dimming your voice. Oh, baby, these authentic leadership principles, like, oof, just talking about it gets me excited. If you're a woman, executive, entrepreneur, or visionary, then this is for you. Are you ready to bring your success full circle? The doors to mastery and momentum are open. This is an exclusive 9-month mastermind for accomplished women who are ready to dream a new dream and step into their next level of purpose. That means, yes, you've already had life and/or professional wins, but you're tired of outdated accolades that feel meaningless to you in this season. You want to grow in your thought leadership and introduce the world to the new you, the more aligned you. But you still need guidance in not just knowing what's next, but owning what has to go for you to have it. So whether that's finally writing a book, launching that podcast, hitting that next 6 or 7-figure business milestone, maybe it's leading an initiative in your corporate career, securing that raiser promotion, or planning that exit strategy you've been talking about for a while, Mastery and Momentum is designed to help you create the most powerful, purposeful, and aligned thought leadership of your life. This is a no excuses, just execution space where your purpose can evolve and your next level vision can be birthed. Through live coaching, structured accountability, and proven practical exercises and tools, you'll embrace what I call the principles of abbreviated acceleration to elevate your mindset and action so that you can lead with confidence, conviction, authenticity, and massive impact. This is a selective safe space where success is not optional. It is inevitable. If you're ready to drive transformative change within your personal and professional life, head to masteryandmomentum.com to apply now. That's masteryandmomentum.com. Let's make this your most powerful, aligned, authentic season yet. And finally, the money pillar. I believe that this season is about getting back to the basics. And as much as Redefining Wealth has definitely become a space for more personal development, many of you know that I started in basic personal finance. When I was known as America's Money Maven, we were talking about budgeting and debt elimination and saving and all the basics of personal finance. Between my role at Opportunity Knocks, which is an award-winning show on PBS. We're going into our 3rd season, and I serve as one of 3 coaches alongside Louis Barajas and Jean Chatsky formerly of the Today Show, for 20 years. Between my role there and what I am feeling led to do in our community, the Institute for Redefining Wealth, but also our community as a large, I'm going back to the basics. Many of you know that I also got divorced 2 years ago, and I did lose half. I say lose lightly. I agreed to release half of my net worth in order to receive more peace. We will say it that way. How does that sound? And so rebuilding requires getting back to the basics. And just like I did the first time around, when I was first introduced to the marketplace, I said, I lost everything in the recession, but my mind isn't bad. So if you want to come with me, we're going back. I'm going back up the mountain. And if you've never been up the mountain, come with me. That's the season I'm in now. So whether you just need basic personal finance stuff or you're looking for those next level strategies and tools, the guests that I'm bringing on the podcast, you even heard from one just last week when I brought Dr. Brad Klontz. The guests that I'm bringing on the podcast are all about taking what I'm teaching you in the first 5 pillars, and then how do we harness all of that to help us make better personal finance choices. Those are the types of guests that I'm bringing, and I am committed to creating micro tools to support you, because it's so important that no matter who's in office, no matter what's going on with the economy at large, that you still do the things that you can do to preserve your personal economy. And that doesn't mean that you start hoarding, that you not invest in a program, that you not invest in. No, I'm still investing in myself, because the best investment is myself. When I align myself in these masterminds and with coaches and in these programs that, yes, I am in programs, I do get coaching, it's because I know that the return will pay dividends. I don't retreat and go back into the scarcity I was raised with. I don't retreat and start to become fearful of every little thing. No, I do evaluate things more intensely. I do really look at people's character, make sure that they are aligned, not that they believe all the same things that I believe, but do they have good character? Do they have integrity? Do they have something that I believe I desire to possess? Because the investment in proximity will never be something that is not worth it to me. I've had one conversation with a person that changed my life over and over and over again. I've been in spaces where I never implemented all 100% of what they had available, but I learned 1 or 2 tools that changed my life, and I ran with them because they aligned with the vision that I had in that season. And if we could be that for you through the Institute for Redefining Wealth or Mastering Momentum, I would love that. But wherever you decide to go, whatever you decide to do, we here at Redefining Wealth, we're getting back to basics, because more people in this community need to have basic understanding of personal finance. And then as we're clearing the clutter in those first 5 pillars and you're fortifying things and you're locked in on the vision, we also need the financial resources to bring it to fruition. And so you're going to hear more about that, and things are going to be evolving around here. But I hope you can feel and hear the fire in my belly. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm very clear about who holds me. And I'm very clear about how these pillars have allowed me to process so many things over and over again. Everything from death to divorce to giving up half of my net worth to launching businesses, relaunching businesses. I've used these pillars over and over again. And I hope that as a fellow purpose chaser in this Redefining Wealth community, that you will not see the pillars as just this cute thing that I talk about on the podcast, but that you will see them as a way to get to the vision that you say you have for your life. My call to action is that we not retreat, that we not let the vision be void. It's that we rest when we need to rest, but we never put the vision to rest. Because if God gave it to you, there is an opportunity to see it through. You need community, you need support, you need a framework, you need structure, and that is what we are here to do. So God bless you. Thank you for being a part of this community with me. It is my honor to serve you. It is my honor to be a guide to many of you. It is my honor to be your sister in this thing called life. And I believe that our visions are not void. They are not empty. They are not invalid. I believe that more than ever, they require your attention. They require you to activate your voice so you can enroll people in that vision. They require you to stay committed, and they require you to leverage every pillar you can until you see that vision become a reality. That's it for me today. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your vision. I would love to hear what you took away from this episode. I would love to hear your suggestions about how you would like to participate in the Redefining Wealth community, the panels or the meetups. You're going to be seeing us ask about it in the app. So if you're not in the Redefining Wealth app, this is your invitation. You guys be good. Until next time, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever feeling like you have to chase money. I'll talk to you later.